We operate in the sports apparel and equipment industry here in the United States. We really supply decorated equipment and apparel to the collegiate and scholastic industry. So across the entire country, schools, colleges, and educational institutions. I'm the CFO of BSN Sports. Obviously cover everything financial, responsibility for the full financial statements and outcome operations of the company. I've been with BSN for 2 years. We have an extremely large sales team, and that's sales professionals that are out in the market, or field sales professionals as we call them, as well as inside sales teams, performing various functions as you'd expect. Within the construct of the business, we have a lot of different, kind of go-to-market strategies. One of which is, dealing with a lot of these colleges and schools, on a deal-by-deal basis in some cases, and many of them sizable deals. A lot of them also, involve various forms of, discount or rebates, or some form of, benefit to the customer at the end of the day, and so. That can get very complex, across a large business like ours. For a little bit of context, we have almost 1,200 field sales professionals out in the market, operating on a day-to-day basis, and a management structure around that. So you'll appreciate that the ability to control and manage, everything that is going on out in the market on a day-to-day basis in terms of pricing, deal making, decision-making around that, and then, the control and governance around what we're providing, in each deal or in a tranche of deals and things like that, that to our customers, keeping, control of that and making sure that it makes sense and it's governed correctly is no small task. So it's really important that we have the right tools in place and the ability to be able to operate effectively, make sure that we're making the right decisions alongside our sales teams and sales professionals, and providing them with the tools and ability to kind of make, smart decisions on the front end, backed up by good and fast decision making in the middle and back office. Really a whole range of things that we deal with that we're aware of, consistently across the board, in terms of not just setting up the deals correctly. And making sure that, a rebate program or a discount program or whatever it is really that provides value back to the customer is set up correctly, is managed appropriately, and, is something that we can measure and track on a consistent basis to both understand, what we're providing as value, whether we're executing correctly in terms of the value that we've, committed to providing. And then keeping, a tab on what's actually happened, where it's happened, has it happened within the guidelines and the parameters that we've set, for the business, and does it fit the profile of what we're prepared to do from a profitability perspective, et cetera, et cetera. So, many, many areas where, the ability to kind of not just understand what has been committed or what is being committed is correct, but making sure we have an effective way of controlling it, governing it, and measuring it. A couple of reasons. Everything I just said, obviously is extremely important in terms of being able to run and manage the business on a day-to-day basis. We didn't have an effective tool, process, or method of making sure that we were making all those decisions in the right way, and then being able to measure and track what the outcomes were. Other than, on a manual basis using Excel spreadsheets, or, other forms of, sort of tabulation tools and tracking tools. And, really no one-stop shop where we had everything kind of housed and managed well. And as a result, that kind of made us feel a little bit uncomfortable. And so it was important for us to be able to go and find a platform or a set of tools or a methodology that we could adapt and utilize that would basically provide us with all of those elements that we didn't have. We picked Enable, partly due to, our desire to go and find something in the market that allowed us to do what I just said, and really become, if I could say, sort of our one-stop shop in terms of being able to run and manage rebates, in totality. And we deal with rebates on the customer side, we deal with rebates on our vendor side as well, that get provided to us for goods that we purchase. So it was important for us to find and put in place, a much better tool, and create the ability for us to, manage and operate, the rebate programs effectively. And so we got involved with Enable largely because of the nature of what Enable had built and the tools that they had put in place within the Enable platform, and really the ability to interact with that on a fairly easy and seamless basis. I like the fact that it was a SaaS-based platform, and could basically utilize data from our ERP system and feed data back to our ERP system, but wasn't something that needed interoperability between the ERP and the Enable tool itself. We could utilize other factors to kind of pass information back and forth, but it provided us with a one-stop shop to be able to go and set up and manage every rebate program that we have or that we intend to have within the Enable tool, and provide us with all of the options and operational capability that I mentioned earlier. So far, the relationship that we've built and set up with Enable has been extremely good. We've managed to get a lot of good traction on setting up the rebate programs that we embarked on. Initially, we decided to set up the vendor side first versus the customer side, for good reasons. And we've seen some really great traction there in terms of being able to get, our vendor rebates into the Enable tool and see some of the, the outputs that we expected from that. Really at the beginning to just get, everything in one place. The kind of next steps that we envisage, really starting to leverage the tool and seeing some of the real benefits out of the tool or the platform, is being able to actually feed some of that information back to our vendors and demonstrate our ability to actually track, calculate, and give them the confidence that we actually can manage the rebate program effectively, and potentially even incentivize them to provide more, better, potentially even richer rebate programs to us. And we expect to be able to do exactly the same on the customer side once we get that side set up as well. And I view it as a tool and a platform that is not just something that allows you to set up, manage, track the rebates or fundraising, whatever you decide to pass back to a customer, or that you're earning from a vendor. I view it as an opportunity to really, leverage on both the sales side of the business and on the buy side of the business to go and demonstrate and, provide comfort to vendors and customers that we have the ability to do this. And, it's accurate, complete, fairly seamless, and, they have the ability to see the data, as much as we do. And that gives them confidence that, they can actually think a little bit more broader and potentially better in terms of what they're prepared to provide or what we're prepared to provide to our customers. And it can be a really, really strong sales and marketing tool at the same time. I think the most exciting thing for me, outside of just getting, a grip on everything that we do today and having a clear view of what that is and feeling, comfortable about the governance and tracking ability of all of that stuff, it really kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier. I think the next step or two in the whole process of what do we do then with the rebate programs that we now can track and manage and understand. It provides us with an insight into, on the vendor side, areas where, we may have been missing an opportunity to go and earn a few extra dollars on a rebate program because we weren't aware of how close we were to hitting a threshold or something like that. That's real dollars and cents that you can go and utilize to drive, and improve the business. Outside of then, feeding back information to the vendor to say, well, if you tweak this thing, one or two things here, based on our ability to understand the rebate program, then we could do even better. And we could maybe, improve both both businesses in the process. And really the same exists on the customer side, where, it provides us the opportunity to go back into the customer, show them what they're doing, show them where they can go and earn more dollars that ultimately is going to give them more value and translate into more value for us as the vendor to them. So, really there's a ton of opportunity to utilize the data and the analytics that one gets out of, utilizing a tool like Enable. I like spending time with my family, and we do like doing things together, getting out, traveling a bit. I've done a lot of traveling in my life. I've been fortunate to be able to do that. Other than that, I really enjoy playing golf. I cycle a lot, and kind of use that for both relaxation and a bit of exercise. Other pursuits like reading and things like that. But generally speaking, often find my best times are when we're together as a family doing something really cool.